Welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. Today we are working on a 1969 Panzer, and I need a new carburetor. And fortunately, I was nice enough for the company HIPA. I believe that's how it's pronounced, HIPA. It's hipastore.com. I'll also put some links down in the description for Amazon for some links for the carburetor and stuff like that. But they were nice enough to set me out a carburetor for it. So we're going to go ahead and get that installed. In this particular set they sent me, I got the carburetor. They included 2 new gaskets, which was good, and an adapter in case I need to hook the fuel line. But I'll end up having to use probably my line there, which is okay. So if you have a hose for a fuse line, you can use that adapter right there. So that's good that they provide that option as well. This thing is old enough. It did not use hoses as much. It does have one down here, but from here to here, from the fuel pump to the carburetor, is a metal line. There's only a couple of tools you need for this. And a wrench. In this case, I'm just going to use an adjustable wrench to remove the fuel line here. So you can see I got that loose, that off now. And then the other thing you got to do is, we can get this. This is just a plug wire. We'll just get that out of the way. And you have a screw here and one on this side. They're a little challenging to get to, and then because you have your linkage, but we'll do that after we get this loosened up. Unscrew these 2 side screws here. This one's a little bit of a challenge, but you can get in there. And if you have to, you can use a wrench on it as well. But I was able to get in there with the screwdriver. Probably couldn't see that because it's in behind, but then yeah, loose enough I can probably do it with my finger here. And I have to go a little at a time because the heads of the screw hit the housing of the carburetor a little bit. There we go. So this carburetor is now off. The only thing you have to do is tip it up to remove the linkage right here. And all you gotta do for that is tip it this way and it comes right out. And then you can just set this old one aside. And I just wanted to take a minute and show you the old carburetor. I did take the 2 screws out, so I'm gonna be using that in a new carburetor. And I gotta take this piece out, which will hook my fuel line back up. But you can see this thing is in pretty rough shape. It's probably original. The color is the same. So this is probably the original carburetor from 1969. All the colors match up. Everything seems to match on it. So I might rebuild this one. I'm certainly going to save it because this is a somewhat rare tractor. They made a lot of these, but this particular year they only made about 900. They were a special order only. And I actually have 2 of them. So it's just a Carter carburetor. But yeah, let's set this aside and start getting a new one on. First thing I'm going to do is get the bolts in place here. There's one there. And then this one goes right here. Once we get those in, we'll take one of the gaskets, slide that on there. So that's good. Then what we're going to do is basically reverse the process. First thing we're going to do is hook up the linkage. And again, we're going to just tip that down like that, wiggle that in place. There we go. And then we can bring this up against the housing, up against the engine block itself. And again, make sure your surface area is good and clean. Okay, I got that one started. This one's a little bit easier on this side. And we got that one started, so that's good. You can see right there, that's where I'm getting at. And that's a wrench as well, so you can tighten that up using a wrench if need be. So let me get those tightened up, and then we'll get the fuel line hooked up. Next thing I'm going to do is remove this fitting off the old carburetor here. I kind of already broke it loose. Take that off, and we're going to put that on the new carburetor so we can hook the fuel line up. It's going to go right over here. And I recommend using the actual right size wrench for this, but I just happen to have this adjustable sitting right next to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and snug this up. Don't over tighten it. Get it good and snug, and if you have a leak, you can snug it up a little bit more. Get this line hooked back up here. Snug that up. Again, not too tight. Got a rubber seal in there that probably needs to be replaced as well. But now I don't have an air breather for this, so you didn't see me take that off. However, like I said, they did provide a second gasket, so that is something I'm going to purchase eventually and get it on here, and then I'll be able to use this other gasket. I did not need this in this case, but if you have a rubber line or a flexible line going up to yours, or if yours does not have a fuel pump and you just direct feed from your tank and it's just the hose like this right here, then you certainly could have used this if your tank is high enough for gravity feed and you don't need the pump. So that's an option as well. So it's nice that they included this. I don't need it in this particular situation, but if my pump were to ever go bad down here, then I could just turn this to a gravity feed because the tank is up a little bit higher than the carburetor. That's all there is to it. Getting the new carburetor installed. Of course, I want to put my plug wire back on here, and you're good to go. And again, I want to thank, I believe it's pronounced HIPA, for sending this out to me. That was kind of them. I appreciate it. Again, I'm going to be cleaning this tractor all up and eventually kind of restoring it and fixing it up really nice. But if you want to get a kind of a look at the whole thing, we just back up here. That's what it looks like right there. And this is a carburetor that fits multiple engines. This happens to be the K161. It's a Kohler, and that's a pretty common engine that was used years ago, and there's still a good engine today. But there you have it, how to change the carburetor on a small engine. In this case, a Kohler 161 on a Panzer Tractor from 1969. All right, I rolled the tractor outside. Now we're going to go ahead and see if we can get it fired up. I put some fresh gas in it, and let's see what happens. I got a booster pack hooked up here because I don't have a battery in it, but nope, choked too much. I gotta tell you, I bought a carburetor for this last year, new. I think I paid like 35, 40 bucks for it or something like that. And I could not get it to work. There was something wrong with the brand new carburetor. So I put the old one back on. HIPA happened to reach out to me and sent me this one. And this is not an expensive carburetor. And it works. So I gotta give them credit. I bought one, did not work. I did not buy it from them. It was from somebody else. So I'm pretty happy with this. She's fired right up, and we'll be able to get an air filter on this and use this tractor. So again, I want to thank them for sending this out to me. Link down in the description. Thanks for swinging by Shane's Green Shop. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.